Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today we'll be going over the Vergil versus Sephiroth death battle. We have with me Mr. Mangler, who joined me for the last death battle, and the Australian joining us for this one.
The one and only Balrog Boys.
And I get the Australian.
What, would you want Balrog Blaze? Captain Blaze?
Yes, son.
Motherfucker.
The captain of all blues.
They're going to search me up and they're just going to be, we don't know who the Australian is.
Okay, so we're going to skip a little ahead. I think at the start, just talking about Sephiroth's background, but I kind of don't want to risk a Final Fantasy VII encounter, so we'll just go here.
It was created in a...
Can you guys hear the audio?
What do you think's going to happen? You're going to get recommended Final Fantasy VII videos?
Hey, you never know. You never know. They're going to be like, fucking, oh, Zim likes Final Fantasy VII.
I think it's worth the risk.
Alright, let's get started.
Lab, look at how majestic that mane is.
According to Final Fantasy lore, Sephiroth has to use an entire bottle of shampoo and conditioner every single time he...
Okay, so anything you guys want to mention here? Because I don't know if we're really going to... Voiced by the bass singer of NSYNC? No. I don't know that one, actually. Because, like, I don't really know if we're... do any of you guys know anything about Sephiroth or no? Because, like, I'm just kind of wondering if, like, I should just, like, let the Sephiroth part play through or not.
I know a decent chunk of most of his abilities, and I know his full backstory.
Alright.
So. I like you thought you were going to ask if you know who NSYNC is.
If you don't know who NSYNC is, I don't know what to tell you. You know, they release such wonderful classics.
There's no need to talk about it.
Bates, why do you know that? Did you join his fan club or something?
For research. But Shinra wasn't interested in Sephiroth for his hair. Instead, he was an essential part of their soldier program.
Is there a reason why
this electric company
is always the one who does the like jokes about being in love with somebody or obsessed with somebody? I don't know.
Comedic effect.
Well, I understand it, but why is it always Wiz the one who does it?
I think he's supposed to be like portraying like a nerd archetype or something. I don't know. I guess. Or socially awkward, perhaps, but intelligent. I'm assuming that's supposed to be like the persona he's going for.
I don't know. I was just always wondering because like it's always fucking Wiz who does it.
Yeah, I don't think that's what Boomstick's persona represents.
He has their own private military? I'd hate to miss a payment with those guys. Especially if they sent Sep after me. I mean, like the ridiculously long sword he keeps with him. That's his
this guy
name.
keeps up until his MFTL gets gunned down by a bunch of bullets. Get the fuck alright, so we have his arsenal, which is the Masamune, a standard sword with no special properties, the gold armlet, boost defense, tough ring, boost vitality and spirit. I gotta say, I don't like the fact that they give Sephiroth optional gear, because I don't think that's what he normally has in the game, or if he has any gear at all.
Did someone say optional gear? Oh, you know what that means.
Also, the materia, I think it's already confirmed that at least when he gets through the live stream, he doesn't need materia to cast any magic, so I'm not really sure why they include materia.
Behemoth of a blade is a lot like the Nodachi swords they used back
I think they
in
mentioned that, but I don't know.
But instead of wielding something long with two hands like those, Sephiroth only needs one.
Even that speaks nothing of his effectiveness as a warrior.
Yeah, you know when people spread legends of someone, they usually make him out to be even better than he really is? It's the total opposite with Sephiroth.
With his...
I think in almost every fiction, it's implied that the stories you hear about legends is like watered down. Like that's usually how it works. I don't think it's the other way around. Do you guys know any examples where it's the other way around? Because I've only ever heard of the example where like the stories are watered down.
Hang on one moment. Keep going.
Okay, well I guess I'm gonna keep going.
Superhuman speed, strength, and durability, Sephiroth was instrumental in ensuring Shinra's victory in the Wutai War, conquering the last free nation on the planet. He returned home a legend.
But all those warm, fuzzy feelings of victory didn't last long. While on a mission to the town of Nibelheim, Sephiroth found a bunch of books on the Genova project. That's when he discovered he was a secret science project the whole time.
Not sure why they
The
fucking
truth
keep it
crushed
on the open.
Sephiroth and drove him mad. In a rage, he annihilated Nibelheim, but was stopped by a mercenary named Cloud Strife. Sephiroth was impaled by the Buster Sword and fell to his death.
Oh, well, that's disappointing. Which is what I would have said if Sephiroth hadn't dropped into a hole in the ground that led him to the giant Windows screensaver called the live stream.
I'm not
The
too
life
familiar with
stream
Final
is a
Fantasy
very
VII's war on this
river of
part, but
energy which
I'm pretty sure he
basically
didn't die
maintains
in the
life
first
across
strike,
the
did he?
planet. Normally, merging with the life stream is the
No.
equivalent of entering the afterlife,
Yeah, 'cause I
but
was gonna say,
not
at least I
for
remember
Sephiroth.
that, like, fucking
And this
he
is
survived
where
after
things
that,
get
but I don't
weird,
think he entered
so
the life
buckle
stream
up.
early.
Still conscious, Sephiroth's essence floated through the life stream for years until he absorbed enough energy to rebuild his body. With the energy of the life stream, he could control other beings with Genova cells.
Including the corpse of Genova, who he manipulated like a puppet and disguised as himself.
Oh, what the hell? That's his mom? Who would do that to their own mom? I mean, I know she's a genocidal alien monster, but come on. Probably makes a good breakfast.
But Sephiroth's descent into the life stream offered him even more. It transformed him from a mere super soldier into the most
children.
dangerous being on the planet. He's strong enough to throw a man hundreds of feet.
Okay, superhuman prowess, telekinesis, illusion casting, unlimited magic pull, techniques, octo slash, energy projectiles, heaven's light, shadow flare, heartless angel, supernova. Okay, so supernova is the weird one on the table because in Crisis Core, it's confirmed that his limit break is supernova by his fan club, if I remember correctly. But you only ever see supernova used in Dissidia. So I'm not too sure if giving that to base Sephiroth's fair game or not, because we've never seen supernova done outside of save for Sephiroth. Or
If you're arguing that he could use it in base, I would just simply argue he would have to use most of his energy. If that's true, like it would have to require a significant charge time.
I was like, 'cause I only know the one Dissidia, so I don't know.
Like he's not. It would not be canon consistent for him to be casually dropping supernova when the main consistent feat in the main timeline is him doing it after he gets the black materia and he's connected to the live stream and is like massively amped. Oh.
No, it's fine.
Skyward, move at supersonic speeds, and withstand brutal.
Move at supersonic speeds. That's
It's a little
Leave it alone,
slow,
continue.
don't you think?
I'm just saying that seems a tad bit slow for Sephiroth.
Leave it
Admit.
alone, continue. Let's not make this an hour and a half.
Aww.
Stab wounds through vital organs.
He's got illusion powers that can trick people by creating an entirely fake scenario. He can lift people with his mind, including himself, and then he can just fly. That's how it works, right?
Additionally, Sephiroth can cast
I'm
magic
very
thanks
lucky.
to his on-hand materia. Materia is crystallized
Sim, the
life
stream's
energy
messing up
that
for me.
grants different powers
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
according to the type of material used.
This lets
Okay, so
Sephi
you do
attack
have
with
some
fire,
life
lightning, ice, and earth-based magic. He can block attacks with barrier and reflect, and heal himself with cure and regen. And ever since jumping into the life stream, he's had unlimited
I want
access
to point
to
out
his
he never
magical
uses those
powers.
techniques in
With
actual
his new
combat.
godlike abilities, Sephiroth
Well, at least
began a
in Advent
plan to
Children, I
stop
don't know if he uses
mankind
that in
from
the game or
drying
not.
up the planet's life force.
That doesn't sound so scary. Does that mean he's an environmentalist, or...?
But to do this, he decided to use black materia to summon a giant meteor to destroy the planet and absorb all of its life energy for himself.
So, like, an opposite environmentalist. A planet vampire. I mean, we're talking about a guy who kicked a dude through solid concrete, murdered the crap out of a 30-foot serpent with a spike through the face, and tanked a dragon's flamethrower attack without even getting a teensy bit hurt.
A particularly
They
impressive
can't use
feat
that.
considering this attack was capable of one-shotting
That's
fellows.
gameplay.
So this one's kind of weird here. It is gameplay, but that's a scripted moment. So no matter how you play Final Fantasy VII, this fight will happen, and that effect will happen. So you cannot avoid that feat in question. I feel
Dragon
like-
looks goofy.
That's what you're gonna say.
I don't know. I just saw him and I was just like, I'm getting Dragon Tales flashbacks, and I haven't seen that show in decades.
I will say I feel like this is one of those instances where gameplay is fair game, because regardless of how you do it, this fight will always happen in the game.
That's typically the thing with scripted gameplay. You can't avoid it.
Soldiers Zach Fair.
Wiz, you may need to up your prescription, because that's definitely Cloud.
No. Cloud was just recalling false memories there. It was really Zack. However, it was Cloud who impaled Sephiroth pre-livestream with the Buster Sword.
And holy God, is it huge! It's like 2 feet wide! You'd think a stab from that thing would just cut him in half, but Seph just kind of shook it off.
And in his rematch with Cloud, he blocked an attack strong enough to crater the metal around him. Considering the diameter.
Final Fantasy said Sephiroth was nowhere near his full power in Advent Children. That's a contentious interpretation, because the problem is that you have multiple statements on Advent Children Sephiroth either being the strongest or being weaker.
So the way that we could interpret this, because there's one statement from Nomura that says he's at his strongest, like that's his strongest form, and the creator of Final Fantasy just says he's nowhere near his full power. Those two statements can both be accurate and not contradict each other. This just simply means this would be his strongest state. He's just not at like full power yet. So
that's fair. He
could grow stronger than Safer Form Sephiroth. He just hasn't at that exact moment.
Fair enough.
Diameter of the crater, the surface area of Sephiroth's feet, and assuming the most likely steel composition, I estimate this attack to equal nearly 1,600 tons of force.
Sephiroth can use that wicked sword to stab and lift wannabe.
1,600 tons of force. Okay, so Hero of the Wutai War, they said this twice, I think. Slice through Mako cannons, that's fair. Tank Genesis fireballs. No scaling point there, unfortunately. Unless you want to argue he scales equally to Sephiroth. Nearly destroyed the planet. That was done via black material.
That's very. It's feats like that they put down where it's like, shit, I wish I knew the context.
No, yeah, because the problem is it just depends on where you scale Genesis at the beginning of
also,
Children.
Also, NGO was convinced that Genesis was going to kill all of them when he decided to do that.
Oh yeah, because fucking so the problem is it's really inconsistent. You think Sephiroth's the strongest, but then Genesis ends up fucking beating him in the fight almost. And Geo
the problem is
him, and then Geo can stop both of them in the fight. So it's kind of I guess they are equal or relative.
At least in terms of physical strength, but then there's the material, because he was convinced the materia was going to kill each other, and then after that they were getting they were fighting harder and harder, and he was like, "Hey, I gotta stop both of you." I would really argue that it's only comparable to pre-livestream Sephiroth, because Sephiroth that was before he got the one wing. That was before he fell into the live stream or got the black materia.
Okay, so destroyed the planet. That's with the black materia. So that should not really be a fee for Sephiroth unless we're going to give him black materia.
Also, as well, defeated Zack, Genesis, and Angel. That's fine, but why the hell is Tifa on the same card?
Yeah, because Tifa's nowhere near as strong as she is in Final Fantasy VII during the events of
I mean, it's definitely a feat, but why?
You might as well just put the entire party down at this point.
Got killed, but then got better. Okay. Okay. So also to be clear as well, we will not be bringing up anything from DMC5, just because we didn't give that disclaimer earlier. We're not bringing anything from DMC5 Vergil because they would not have had access to DMC5 Vergil. That wouldn't be fair.
No, also, no Final Fantasy VII remake as well.
Yeah.
Be heroes by their ribcage, slice through skyscrapers, and shoot energy beams that can shred these huge Mako cannons. And from the live stream, Sephi figured out he could create new bodies or even take on other forms.
These forms greatly resemble certain creatures found in Christian and Jewish mythology.
He certainly looks the part when he goes into his ultimate form.
Regardless, Sephiroth does possess a single black wing. A blatant symbol.
Why are they showing footage of him from Cage?
Final Fantasy does everything
That's not canon.
Not be subtle. Just like Sephiroth's most devastating attack, Supernova, which decimates an entire solar system. Wait, if Seph is that powerful, how does anyone ever beat him?
Don't get the wrong idea here. There's a lot of debate over how Supernova actually works, but I think it's pretty clear that Sephiroth isn't creating the explosion himself. Rather, he's transporting his foes to a specific point in time within an alternate dimension.
Careful, Wiz, don't sell him short.
Just look at it. When he uses the attack, reality literally crumbles away like glass. This is identical to the animation for certain summoned creatures.
Okay.
According to the official Crisis Core Complete Guide, summons draw their targets into their own space in order to attack, and this is no different. In the Dissidia fighting games, Sephiroth goes for the civil approach and opens a dimensional hole to the explosion. The attack is even described as sending destruction even into other dimensions. And if he could summon planet-busting meteors at will, why did he go through so much trouble to get the Black Materia, which literally summons meteors?
That would explain why the supernova doesn't hurt him.
Okay, so I gotta say this right now. If they're not even gonna scale Sephiroth to Supernova, there's no argument here, like at all, for Sephiroth winning this fight. Even hang on, we'll see the DMC section, but that seems very downplayed to not scale Sephiroth to his own Supernova attack.
Also, like, isn't he like guiding it with telekinesis too? Like, is he not controlling the attack?
Well, I mean, like, it's like, okay, so like that's a meteor, so I don't really.
Well, but even then, like, Supernova as an attack, like you said, is already confirmed to be his like limit break. This is just an upscaled version of that, but he's also upscaled because he's connected to the live stream. Yeah, you could say he's like amped,
Well,
but he's
problem is
still
that they're
controlling the
arguing that
meteor.
he doesn't. So they argue he can do the attack, he just doesn't scale to the actual.
Yeah, no,
itself,
that's my
which is kind of
problem
the
with it.
problem.
Yeah, no, that's my problem with it. Like, he should scale. There's no reason not to.
Alright. Let's continue.
He's not really there, just using those illusion powers of his. With all these powers, I can't believe Cloud and friends were able to take him down.
He's not invincible, but he's damn powerful. Ever persistent, Sephiroth departed with a final, chilling promise.
I will
Yeah.
never be a memory.
So they just don't let this guy die.
Why does he sound so bored?
2,000 years ago, a great mutiny transpired in
Yeah, we don't.
Chick with the hair.
But the eldest and potentially deadliest brother was the one and only Vergil.
Vergil and Dante were rivals from birth. Dante was a goofball. Vergil was serious. Dante hated his being a demon.
I'd like to
and
point
Vergil
out
loved
right
it.
here that the comics are not canon. They're also not consistent. But like, I guess if they wanted to just show a visual of them sword fighting, sure. But
Since
yeah.
VCB hasn't come out yet.
It's that classic.
Well,
odd
like
couple
no, like
scenario.
these were always like
But then
contentious. They literally fuck with the events of DMC1 on a scale you would never imagine.
I'll have to sit down and read it sometime, or at the very least take a look at it. I know they have a Moonus versus Sparta fight, though. I know that one.
Basically, Dante runs away from every fight in the game. Nello Angelo's completely sentient.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and is blatantly loyal to Mundus. Is also not under mind control.
Okay, yeah, so
In an act of vengeance against the late Sparta, a group of rogue demons separated the two brothers and killed their mother. Vergil was believed to be dead. But in reality, Vergil survived and set out on his own path to seek his father's immense power.
was once robbed after losing a drinking game.
So they're referencing DMC1's novel.
Wait. We can use Gilbert then. You, Kyle.
They should have done that.
What do you need me to tell you?
I mean, he's not canon, but like, hey, if they want to mention it,
Does
then,
he have like any good AP feats?
He can keep up with Dante.
I mean, he does kind of rip the demon world into the human world.
I mean, like, does he scale to the tree like that? He's like protecting, or no?
I don't remember, but it wouldn't really matter because the tree has no feats. It's the fact that he's bringing
he
in
actually
the
has a
demon
fate
world.
where he actually has a fate where he stabs the ground and like cuts into the dimensions and lets demons into Bobby Silla and basically transforms Bobby Silla into part of the demon world.
Alright, so you can control the demon world to an extent. Any speed feats for Gilbert, or no? Because I just keep up with Dante.
Nothing impressive.
Alright, so just keep up with Dante. Alright, I'll keep that in mind.
Power for himself.
And he's 100% equipped to be a butt-kicking demon slayer just like his pops.
Oh yeah, they're also giving us Nello Angelo as well. So technically we could use feats from all three, or I'm not too sure on this one because they mentioned Nello Angelo and Gilbert So I think using Orlando's feats are fair game too.
Yeah.
As a half-demon, Vergil can jump several times his own height, move at supersonic speeds, and...
What is it with fucking supersonic for these fuckers? There are literally lasers in DMC3 that Dante can dodge and react to.
I mean, apparently they didn't read the descriptions, but like, even if you don't want to argue that like Dante can react to them, Dante uses Artemis, which is described in 3 different descriptions as laser energy, lasers, and then like some other variation of like laser something. Like 3 different forms of lasers being fired.
Vergil
in addition to the roll.
not faster in all those lasers.
Yeah, so that'd be wrong.
I mean, the laser scaling's a little, like, I understand the laser scaling's a little up in the air for certain people, but, like, at least here, if it's called a laser, you know, like, we'll interpret.
You would scale it to the speed of a laser.
Yeah, we're not too picky on that one, but I understand some people might have, like, contentions with that.
Kind of like that Wolverine guy. He can tough out getting stabbed through the lung.
Oh, that's right. We also get reboot virtual feeds too.
Oh yeah, I forgot. So wait. Did they composite him?
Yeah. So we get DMC1 Vergil, DMC3 Vergil, and reboot Vergil.
And we get Gilbert.
Do we get the combine rifle as well? Because that just solos.
I mean, I hope they realize what they're doing when they do this, because this means Vergil has like doppelganger now.
Hang on. No, actually, hang on, man. Because I believe Reboot Vergil is calced to sub-relativistic already. So even without, like, the lightning shit, I believe that Reboot Vergil alone upscales Vergil to be faster, like, way faster than Sephiroth. I'll be looking for that in the background.
Please, by their calculations.
I'm pretty sure most people need.
Not if my experiment has anything to say about it.
You say something, Wiz?
I said not if Vergil's abilities have anything to say about it.
Well, sadly, for any human demon or human demon who gets in his way, Vergil also happens to carry some extra deadly weapons on hand, including a spiffy katana called Tomato.
Yamato.
It's said that this sword can cut through anything, even dimensions, and...
Okay, so this just does not get better, because... So if we're again, so like I don't understand why they're giving this reboot Vergil in general, like because that also gives him like defeat against the Onyx guards,
who are invulnerable.
No, yeah, reboot Vergil has sub-relativistic calculations. No, yeah, so just with reboot Vergil alone, yeah, no, he's playable to Sephiroth, at least their version of Sephiroth.
Probably tomatoes. Actually, Yamato is the exact thing Sparta used to seal hell from Earth in the first place.
Vergil's sword.
That's kind of possible, maybe not. It's not really clear when Yamato's used to seal the demon world and the human world, because there's so many separate seals that we're not really quite sure which one came first.
It's only known that it was used to seal up Fortuna.
Yeah.
Well, we know it would be used to seal Fortuna, and it technically would have been used in part to seal Temnagru, because he left the Sparta sword on the other side of Temnagru. So he wouldn't have been able to seal it from the side of the human world if he left the sword over in the demon world.
Fighting prowess draws from his Dark Slayer fighting style, which emphasizes teleportation, lightning quick movements, and even quicker slashes straight from the sheath.
Wait, if they're arguing lightning quick movements, that's literally massively hypersonic, if I'm not mistaken. So like...
Oh, shh.
That's already faster than Sephiroth.
Isn't that already faster than supersonic?
Yeah, like straight up. The way they're saying this up is fucking terrible.
Is directly influenced by Iai Jutsu, the real-life Japanese art of the quick draw. And thanks to Vergil's demonic...
Okay, so Yamato cuts through dimensions. Beowulf, element light, can fire light as a projectile. Okay, so then Beowulf's light speed then, if they're going to argue fires light.
I mean, I guess they were paying attention to the descriptions of Zodiac, because Zodiac literally shoots light as a projectile, and it explodes.
Here's my problem with this, is that they're not going to say that Yamato cuts through everything. Like, even though saying it cuts through a dimension,
wait.
Cuts through everything as well.
Oh yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
That's something NC mentioned as well. Yeah. So Yamato can cut. So again, like I mentioned earlier, Sephiroth's sword has no amps whatsoever. There's nothing special about Sephiroth's sword. Yamato should be able to cut through that, regardless of like your fucking scaling.
Wait, they're giving him heavy rain swords?
Oh, anything in DMC4's version we should know about apparently.
That includes. Are they including Judgment Cut End?
Oh,
mean,
Lethal Judgment cut in. There's faster in light right there. Vergil
that's
literally occupies multiple spaces at once.
that's just murder. Why would you do that to Sephiroth?
Also, can I just say that, like, I remember watching the Death Battle cast for this, and they said that, like, oh, Virgil's sword cutting through everything is contentious. It's like, no, there's one anti-feat, and that's it. Everything else is consistent.
No.
Everything, even
So
the
Even
shockwaves.
then, it's not even like an anti-feat that's like a hardcore one. You can easily explain that away several ways.
It's not even an anti-feat at all because he was not trying to cut Lady.
Well, that's why I'm. Well, no, like people are still gonna say it's an anti-feat regardless. But like, yeah, we can just bring the fact that
And they'll
Virgil
still
has
be
no
stupid
intention
and
to-
wrong.
Well, no, so
but
right
like,
off the bat, Yamato does not cut through dimensions. It cuts through the fabric of space and time. In fact, the way it cuts dimensions to enter the demon world, since they're scaling this to the normal Yamato, is by cutting through the space-time barrier Sparta put up. It ignores space and time. So, in fact, again, can't use DMC5 information, but it cuts through space and time. That's DMC3 information easily.
It's not a technique or anything. That the normal sword, if the wielder desires it to, can cut through that. Also, I can't explain Yamato lore, but we'll get to that later.
Also, just gonna bring this up as well. When Vergil absorbs Beowulf, he absorbs the entire essence of the Light Beast into him. So with Beowulf alone, he should be light speed. But I know for some reason Beowulf is contentious. They using its name to scale its abilities.
On top of the
For
fact,
some reason,
on top of the
even
fact
though
that he should also have access to the supernova technique.
also
Yes,
as
yeah.
I would also gonna say like the even if you think that's contentious, Beowulf is a boss demon, so he'd have more demonic power and would be stronger and faster than the Rooks who can fire the lasers, and then Artemis, the thing that can shoot laser arrows.
No, oh yeah, Artemis, yeah.
So you'd be arguing simple semantics.
I would also like to point out as well
in
that
bad faith.
even if for whatever reason you guys don't want to use the supernova statement, Arkham gains a portion of Sparta's power, and depending on how you want to scale 2C characters or above, that scales Arkham to 2C, and Yamato can not only cut through Arkham, but Dante can tank blows from it as well, which would scale to Virgil. I'm not saying 2C DMC3, I'm just saying that if we really want to be anal about this, we can go higher with an actual feat.
We're specifically arguing solar system because like when it refers to a miniature supernova, that's just the force of like Beowulf making contact with an object, and the fact that like our sun, if it detonated right now, it can't go supernova. It doesn't have enough energy. If it detonated right now, it would wipe out half our solar system. Yeah, that's how far it's raised, right?
I'm aware that a lot of people are like, well, it's a mini supernova, so it's not a full star. No, the miniature part is referencing like the AOE effect, not the actual attack itself.
That would also just be miniature upscaled from like an actual red giant or blue giant, something that can actually go supernova. This is also the fact that they're not charging the punch, they're not going devil trigger, and they vastly surpass Beowulf by the end of the game in base.
Yeah,
Dante even surpasses Beowulf.
So Dante taking blows. So even if you want to argue for it, Dante can still take multiple blows from Beowulf. You know.
I was also going to say Dante surpasses Beowulf by mission 13 because he walks into the Lair of Judgment and he fights Vergil with Beowulf stacked on top of him, and Vergil gives up using Beowulf through the fight.
Say this now. The other two versions of Vergil we brought up, Gilver, since they're using Gilver, and Nello Angelo would be way stronger than this Vergil.
Yeah, because Gilver can open up the portal to the demon world where he gets access to an unlimited supply of demonic energy, and whatever demons he wants to bring. And then Nello Angelo just upscales way higher and is now directly controlled by Mundus.
And scales to a Dante who can dodge particle beams, on other things.
And a Dante that has Alistair.
Here's the main problem. That even with the stuff that they've shown for scaling Vergil and Sephiroth, if you just take that, Vergil just has a better kit.
No, absolutely, but even more than that, the only reason Yamato alone should cut through the sword. Like, I understand that they don't believe it cut through everything, but you have to prove Sephiroth's sword could not be cut through, because we saw it cut through fucking a giant stone fucking like pillar, in DMC4. That scales to this Yamato.
That was also just a wind slash.
Yeah, no, and that fucking pillar is vastly bigger and probably vastly more dense than fucking Sephiroth's normal-ass human sword.
I would also like to point out that if they're using DMC4 like gameplay as an example, like the Force Edge can also control like wind to a significant degree, and like, well,
If we use DMC4, if they're using DMC4 gameplay, Virgil, like, could we be dicks and just scale him to the DMC4 creatures?
well, I'm saying like Vergil would have after images.
Because there's a guy who's literally lightning speed, like literally the embodiment of lightning, and Virgil could kill him in gameplay. Now I'm not too crazy, but I believe lightning's faster in subsonic speeds. I could be wrong on that.
I could be wrong, but there might just be like 4 or 5 statements for lightning speed for all of Dante's weapons.
It's almost like lightning speed is super fucking consistent. Hang on.
There might also be a lightning based demon that drops bolts of lightning on Dante in Mission 9 that he has to fight and dodge.
It's almost like there's also this sword that guarantees that Dante has lightning speed, which...
It's almost as, you know, as a 19-year-old child, he fought a lightning witch.
Alright, let's continue.
He can attack so fast the blade seems invisible.
Yeah, the only thing better than fighting with one sword is fighting with 8. With Virgil's ghostly summoned swords, he can turn himself into a living Beyblade, fire them like a machine gun, or make it rain!
Blades may be Virgil's bread and butter, but if he needs to focus on brute strength, he switches to Beowulf.
He can charge up blink-of-an-eye punches and kicks that hit like a cement truck made of lead and KO some of the toughest demons in just a few hits. And hey, looks like he digs Street Fighter.
There's one more trick up Virgil's sleeve. Thanks to his demon blood, he can access a form known as Devil Trigger. And this...
Oh yeah, not even including fucking Devil Trigger.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I mean, I usually just stop at Yamato, and like, if you can't beat Yamato, you're not beating Virgil. Like, that's his signature weapon. So we don't even need to talk about it.
I'm just kind of being a dick here, and I'm just going through to see just specifically how fast lightning is on VSB to see like how much higher it is than subsonic.
I should probably mention this because they've gone over Virgil's range weapons, but a lot of people don't seem to think that because Virgil doesn't use guns, he can't use some of the techniques that Dante does. Virgil is shown to use Jackpot with Dante in DMC3, which has sealing capabilities. So while he might not use an actual gun, he could just fire a blast of demonic energy at you and seal you away if you're not resistant to it. So
as far as I know,
that's also something he can do.
Hang on, son of a gun. Can one of you guys load up the speed page? I can't see. Oh, hang on. Thanks for no.
Amplifies everything.
His strength.
So at bare minimum, I want to point this out as well. At bare minimum, Devil Trigger is a 2x multiplier. At bare min. So that's
actually be higher than that.
Yeah, but
so,
I'm saying just bare minimum.
Okay, well,
before we continue, I'm just going to throw this out there now. If you need an extra video idea, if you want to go through more death battles, I'll happily sit there with Mitsuru versus Weiss with you. They got the result.
Wait.
I just want to show how hard they downplayed Mitsuru.
Motherfucker.
Hang on one sec. They just so they put Supreme Promise, Rapid Regeneration, Teleportation, Judgment Cut.
Wait. We get Dark Angel. We get more.
I was gonna say
Capcom too.
I was gonna say they gave Dark Angel. That means does he have the scaling from that? Because Virgil beats Galactus in that game. Like, I mean, technically, if you want to use the entire roster, he also beats Dormammu, Shumagorath, and Doctor Strange. Do we get those?
Bro, straight up, that's fucking dude. Like, yeah. If we're including Marvel vs. Capcom, Sephiroth lost this fucking immediately. I don't even know where the fuck this is an argument at.
I forgot that they included Dark Angel. But did everyone hear me, or did I cut out?
No, everyone heard you.
So you heard me mention that like Galactus is on the table, and technically, if you include the roster of people that he fights, you can also include Dormammu and Doctor Strange.
Who the fuck actually thought that was a good fucking idea? Wait, hang on. What's their opinion on composite feats, though? Because like I know they're a little inconsistent on this one, but like if we're including Marvel's Capcom 3, then there's no argument here. Vergil should easily fucking have his ass on the
Also, it's not even like an example of whether or not it's in like the campaign as well. Because if you're using Dark Angel, that's like a pure gameplay like feat. So it's fair for me to use like scripted dialogue that he has with Dormammu, because Dormammu goes back and forth with Dante and Vergil, and he references Mundus.
Yeah, no, like
so it's.
I'm going through fucking like the speed for Vergil right now as well, just to see what they have him on VSB, which kind of downplays DMC hard. They still have massively hypersonic plus with relativistic speed, with relativistic likely FTL combat reaction and reaction speed. Yeah, no, they're just completely wrong here.
Okay, so this is basically full composite Vergil, with the exception of just not having DMC5, if only because it didn't come out at this time.
I gotta say this now, if we're seriously throwing Galactus in there, fucking Galactus would still scale higher than Sephiroth Supernova, even, like, you know, if he's hungry, which he is somewhat hungry, but he's not too hungry.
Even if you scaled him accurately,
but no, it gets better, because when you fight Galactus, you have to fight 2 heralds at once?
Yep.
Which scale to Silver Surfer?
Yep, and one of those heralds could also be Dormammu.
Nah, dude, get out of here with this noise. Dude, if we're including Marvel's Capcom 3, Vergil, nah. It was already a bit of a stomp before, just with proper fucking understanding of DMC's lore and shit, but no, if we're including Marvel's Capcom 3...
We didn't even get into the lore. We were just talking about the different variations. We didn't even get into the scaling for Vergil. I didn't even explain how Yamano's powers work, or how demonic power is, or how it scales to the size of the demon world. I didn't even get to that.
Would you like to do that now before the actual fight starts?
No, there's no need unless they bring it up.
Get a huge boost,
they kind of dug like a 50-foot hole, and they're still going down.
Especially if we're including Marvel's Capcom feats, base Vergil can fight them. This isn't even Devil Trigger Vergil, who'd be way fucking stronger.
And if they're including 4SE, this is base Vergil without concentration, apparently.
No, like, straight up, like, this is just fucking absurd in general.
Alright, let's continue.
Plus, he just looks badass.
In his quest to become as powerful as his father, Vergil's abilities skyrocketed. He's taken down dozens of demons in the blink of an eye, and escaped an illusion from the sorcerer Arkham, which makes normal people go crazy.
That's wrong. That's actually fucking wrong. Arkham did not put up the illusion. I don't know. I remember this. I don't know why they got this so fucking wrong, but that's not what...
Yeah, so I went back and read the page, and Vergil specifically notes that when he's walking into that little, like, downward area, like that it's like a basement stairway area near... I don't remember where that is. This is like an old building that's been there for centuries. And Arkham is explaining the history of the place. They go in front of a statue that Arkham claims is an angel. Vergil says, no, it's a demon. And then it proceeds to try and put him under illusion. Vergil breaks out of it immediately and looks at Arkham and says, Arkham's still there. He acknowledges that Arkham's not the one doing it, and then proceeds to investigate it further. The demon brings him in there. He plays along in the illusion and lives out that night until he asks what the demon wants. And the demon's like, I'm here to show you fear. And he's like, okay. And then he just busts out of the illusion immediately. So he's only in the illusion because he wanted to be. Because he's there to break the seal to remove Temina Gru. Okay. He wasn't put under the illusion, because like I said, he already demonstrated he could break out of it at the moment that it started, and Arkham's not the one doing it.
I'm looking at that a little later. But no, so that's just wrong lore-wise.
To be fair to Death Battle, though, I got the same mistake.
Wait, he scales to DMC4 Dante, guys!
Wait, what the hold up a minute.
Bro, what?
Wait.
They're giving him up. They're giving him DMC4 scaling. No.
Wait a sec.
What is this?
Wait. Is his playthrough from 4 canon to them? Is that true?
Bro, no.
I didn't realize. I didn't realize Vergil was playing Adagio for streams.
Is part of his defeated category.
Oh my god.
It seems even Death Battle has acknowledged the wonderful caliber of Agnes's stutters. So, I would like to point out that
if 4 is on the table, does that mean we get to use 2's novel?
Yes, it means all. Well, okay, so not technically because this is pre-timeline.
So pre-timeline, everything related to 2 does not exist in this point. That wouldn't
But-
matter though, because the anime's still there.
I was gonna say
Hey,
4
well,
and the anime, and all of Nero's feats would scale.
Hey, it still wouldn't matter because we have Deadly Fortune as well.
Bro,
I was gonna say,
dude, the Savior scale's way above Supernova level. Oh my god, he literally created multiple stuff. What is this? No.
So this is
And
like a
we
beyond Demon King level Virgil on like a multiversal
If we're
scale
scaling
now
him to Dante,
that doesn't exist in the canon but has all the powers and abilities
Hang on,
of
man,
all
look-
these non-canon versions
look
that
how
are
it's
inconsistent
made
with the
from a movie.
timeline. Sorry.
So, what we can actually confirm as well, because this is information prior to 5, is that the Savior also scales above Mundus.
Yeah,
This
he
isn't-
scales
this
2
isn't
or
scaling.
above DMC1 Mundus,
This
yeah.
this isn't scaling. We have an actual dev statement that says that.
This would be the DMC1 Mundus. This would not be the Prime Mundus, because we don't know what Prime Mundus or Prime Sparta would
That
look like.
doesn't fucking matter though, because that Mundus is still 2C.
No, straight up, this is fucking... Even lowballing! Both the Savior and Mundus can create realms with stars in them. Like, they would upscale to
Universes.
that, and Agnus would... Or Sanctius would upscale
Also-
higher, because if you're going to include Agnus, you have to include Sanctius with the power of
Also-
Sparta.
If we want to go one step further, the Savior can also create, like, not just different dimensions, but different time spaces, because each arena takes place in different times, as you can see with the position of the sun.
That's true.
It also recreates entire like events where you have to fight demons that you've already killed before.
And you know what? You can argue that that arena would be the same size as the arena you originally fought them in, which would include the entire
Well,
normal
it's
universe.
literally when you move around in it, it's literally the same size. So why wouldn't it be?
Regardless, Virgil speed is above FTL. Regardless.
I would also like to point out that if this is on the table, like, I mean,
If we're scaling him to Dante, that scales to fucking Mundus's like
that
massively faster
scales
than light. All
that
infinite
scales
speed
to the
bullshit.
anime though. And anime Dante fought Abigail, who's confirmed to be as powerful as like Mundus, but that's not DMC1 Mundus. That's Prime Mundus, the Mundus that could merge the demon world, you know, with that space-time continuum in it and multiple infinite bodies, the endless sea, the endless void, the mirror world, Echidna's jungle. He can merge all of that, all of which are universal bodies or higher, with the human world
You have
casually.
You have an argument prior to this. Prior to that scales to Dante moment, you could have argued that DMC3 shit might be hyperbolic or something if you really want to be an asshole about it. You know, I can respect that to an extent, sort of. But if he scales to 4 Dante, your argument is gone.
We don't even need like all the other composite. Not that we needed any of this. We would have been fine with just DMC3 like canon Virgil.
Oh my god.
But they gave him everything. They're just like, we're giving you
Bro,
everything.
wait. Okay, hang on. Let's go over the feats.
Sparta can really do.
Wait. We should have mentioned the Marvel vs. Capcom stuff for fucking. Well, I guess it's different for the Dante versus Bayonetta one because I don't think they listed like a feat from Marvel vs. Capcom or
Marvel vs.
technique.
Capcom was not fucking used for Dante at all. When we were
Well,
there.
I saw gameplay footage for it, but they didn't. I don't think they put anything in his like inventory or like feats specifically.
Does he have any unique attacks in Marvel vs. Capcom? No, because they gave him Dark
No,
Angel.
it's exactly his stuff is exactly the same. Like he only has like a super that's just him like devil triggering through something. But like Dark Angel is a specific technique that's used in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom.
Bro, this was lost the moment they brought in MVC3.
Also,
confirmed,
they gave him Dimension Cut, which is just Virgil literally just leaves the area and floods the entire area with judgment cuts that you can't react to. What the fuck?
Okay, so let's look at his feats for a second, guys.
Pitting him against his bro.
Yeah.
Sure, Virgil can easily avoid Dante's bullets, but why dodge them when you can spin your sword, line them all up, and fire them back? Like a boss.
In the same battle, they briefly created a 12-foot diameter open space in a heavy rainstorm with nothing but...
Bro, you guys already have him scaling the DMC1 Dante. Get out of here. Stop talking about this rainstorm crap. This is garbage.
I've never understood why people use the raindrop feat like it's something impressive because I've also never gotten like an exact speed calc for it. Like, people just mention it, and I'm like, what's the
On
speed for
average,
that?
storms can fill
I
a
don't
know.
public space with as many as
Let's see
30
if they got the
raindrops.
speed.
So, Vergil and Dante must have destroyed 108,000 raindrops in less than a second.
See, they just mentioned the amount
I
of
actually can't
raindrops
disagree with that
destroyed.
one because they say on average, but that's heavy rain going on. Does that not increase how many raindrops are in each section?
Yeah, absolutely. But
Also-
we would have no way of knowing that. This is kind of my problem with this feat. Like, you
Also,
can't, like...
if they wait 5 minutes later in a cutscene, there is a better speed feat when Dante runs down Timon and Gru. And he catches up to Rebellion, which is making air friction.
That's true.
Yeah, well, they would have to scale him to that as well, so...
And then you have the Rooks that fire lasers, like, Free has so many better speed feats that's not funny.
No, not like not only do we have lasers, but the fact that we're including DMC4 Dante, or no, the fact that again, because we're including the Lencho scaling, that scales to like fucking particle beams and shit. Which that
Wait, if we're including no Angelo, can I talk about infinite speed?
You're
Or do we
gonna
wanna-
drop the infinite speed on them.
Well, I'll just leave that aside for now.
Well, I mean, we already have infinite speed scaling the Demon Kings in general, because that information is all before DMC5. Get out of here. Get out of here with this fucking trash.
Feed at the deli, or give it
Wait,
haircut.
why don't they mention? Do they mention the particle beams in the Death Battle cast or no?
I have no idea.
Because here's the problem: they're scaling him to DMC4 Dante, who scales above Sparta Dante by a decent margin.
They
At
also
this
gave
point,
him...
They have to give him all of Dante's feats from DMCs 1 through 4. Well, with the exception of 2, my bad.
They also gave him... well, they gave Sephiroth, like, equipment that's, like, non-optional, so Vergil would also have access to gold orbs and holy water and untouchables.
Why are you throwing in the Untouchables? He's not... Well, I guess, yeah, he is in that game, but...
Yeah, why wouldn't he? He's literally in the same... He's been in that castle for weeks when Dante shows up there for a day and grabs a bunch of untouchables. Why the fuck would no Angelo not have any?
And that thing where he chops bad guys to pieces so fast they don't even realize they're dead yet. Like when he fought Beowulf. The monster, not the weapon. And then he punched him so hard he flew 55 feet up and hit the ceiling.
When comparing Beowulf's size to Vergil, he appears to be as large as an elephant. Given what's available, this seems like our best measure of Vergil's strength.
If only Beowulf hit exactly as hard as an elephant,
But there
then
is
maybe
one
Sephiroth would have won
The
this
Devil May
fight.
Cry series makes frequent use of slow motion to depict the absurdity.
Hang on. They scale him to the Savior, though. Does that... Is Beowulf's punch... Oh, wait, it is, right? They
And
say
this
it's
could be a
superior to...
similar case.
So let's look at another slow-mo feat. The rainstorm fight.
At one point, the rain freezes in place for about 2.5 seconds as Vergil and Dante keep moving, indicating a 14,500% speed increase in real time. Applying the same degree to the Beowulf punch gives us an acceleration speed of about 4,882 feet per second. With that in mind, we can apply our previous data to deduce the maximum height sans ceiling, and determine Vergil's striking strength to be nearly 720 million newtons of force.
That's a
Wait.
lot.
Hold up a minute. So they scaled that... Oh, they also mentioned the Savior stuff. So they scaled that, but they only use it for force, not for speed. When at the end of the fight, Dante with no stamina, who's about to get stabbed twice and be put on the verge of death, is confirmed to be dying
Wait,
in Trinity
hang
of
on,
Fates.
hang on. I thought if you can move so fast, everything else around you freezes. I was under the impression that was like... Is that not infinite speed in general?
Well, not necessarily, because it depends on the perception of, like,
Well, no, hang on.
how...
'Cause everything else around their raindrops is frozen, according to them, for 2.5 seconds. And they're moving around completely. and
Well,
they
no,
stop
time
aiming.
isn't freezing, just the water specifically.
Well, that's how you measure time, though, by the falling of the water.
Here's,
So if the
here's
water's
problem,
not
no,
falling,
no,
you can
so here's the problem, is that it's perspective and the speed of the raindrops. You can just argue that this is either massively hypersonic because lightning speeds can get the same thing, or you can argue light speed.
My
You get the
point...
same result.
Fair enough.
My point was that they were using the scaling to determine that as like newtons of force for his punches instead of using it for speed. When Dante at the end of the fight is shown, like the feat of the blatant feat of Vergil blocking like bullets casually and reacting to them way before they get to him is vastly above the speed of bullets. is from a wounded Dante. Like, that's at the end of the fight, and the raindrop feat occurs before then with a Dante that's not at full stamina and is about to be stabbed and put on death's doorstep. So that's like the weakest Dante in the timeline.
I would also like to point out as well that if you're going to scale him to DMC4 Dante, which they do, Vergil's abilities here do not compare to DMC4 Dante's in any capacity. He's vastly stronger. DMC1 Dante is stronger than fucking DMC3 Vergil. Nello Angelo is vastly stronger than DMC3 Vergil. So, yeah, no, this is complete bullshit. Alright, let's continue.
It matches Vergil's incredible toughness, too.
We already mentioned
Also, regarding this one as well, yeah, no, I already mentioned that.
the super healing factor, but it's even more overpowered than you think. Vergil once got completely cut in half, but healed so fast that it's impossible to even notice.
And his regeneration ability can be worn down.
That's not true.
That's how this weird
Yep, that's false.
But it
So what happens is that Vergil can get tired after a while. That's fair game. But Vergil getting fucking like his healing factor getting weaker over time is not accurate.
That's never been proven, because that Vergil is literally on the verge of like fucking is almost completely out of stamina, and at the end of the fight, and he's like his best regeneration feat comes from the end of the fight. Like, why would you argue then that his healing factor is getting weaker if it's a massively weakened or exhausted Vergil who's used most of his demonic power and handicapped himself by using the wrong sword? And also is not fighting his brother at full strength because he doesn't want to kill him.
Yeah, no, the scaling here is just completely wrong. But to be fair, I would say the Bayonetta versus Dante one research is much more egregious than this one, because Bayonetta had much easier feats to get a hold of, whereas with Vergil, like we've been saying, you gotta go through a lot of shit to find it. You gotta go through guidebooks, you gotta look at enemy descriptions. Actually, Vergil's pretty easy, never mind.
Yeah, Vergil doesn't have that many appearances. There's no excuse for that.
Alright, let us continue.
It takes a lot to pull off, and Vergil can always just use Yamato to hop through dimensions to get away if you want.
Gotta say this now, bro. If we're straight up scaling to reboot Vergil, I'm gonna bring up the Onyx Guard feat. Yamato negs conventional durability. The Onyx Guards can't be cut by Yamato until Vergil DTs and blows them up through sheer raw power. That should beat fucking Sephiroth's basic ass sword.
And so, like immortal beings and like resilient immortality, like immortality that means you can't be damaged by any like physical, like conventional physical means.
Alright, let's get started.
Sadly, Vergil never got to rule the demon realm like he wanted.
Instead,
That's
the demon
not what Vergil wanted, but okay.
Mundus permanently transformed Vergil into his puppet.
That comic is also not
And then Dante
canon.
kind of exploded him. But one or two losses against someone.
Wait.
basically-
We're giving him Nello Angelo's regeneration?
Oh.
What the fuck?
Oh,
Okay, well.
yeah,
No,
that's like high godly.
Well, no, it's not high godly. It'd be bare minimum low godly to mid godly, but
Goddamn
like
Satan.
the problem is that they argue he scales to DMC for Dante. So in their minds, Vergil's actually in like Fortuna or is alive at that time. So bare minimum combat applicable. He'd have low godly because his attack damage to the soul. But
so you could already argue DMC3 Vergil wins alone, but the fact that they added Marvel vs. Capcom 3, the fact that they added DMC4 Dante as a scaling reference, this
and they're just like, here's Nello Angelo's regeneration
Hell
feat
and
of blowing himself
Okay.
out of fucking
So,
existence.
I do have to say this now. I know some people are going to say, is that not DMC5 information? Because we know Vergil comes back only in DMC5. However, there's enough evidence to support that Vergil's alive during the events of DMC4, just using DMC4's novel and DMC 4. Prior to 5.
Agnes also confirms he has like the pieces of the armor and that Vergil, like the Black Knight, like disappeared. Meaning, like Vergil, even if he exploded, would have had to like teleport at least like once to get out of like the castle.
He would have had to teleport to Fortuna at some point. Or
That means he still would have been alive after the explosion. So he would have regenerated almost immediately. You could argue he would have been weakened, perhaps, though we need evidence that he was weakened. But he survived an explosion that destroyed his mind, soul, and body. So, inside an armor that was designed to conceal his power and would have been stronger than him, by the way. So the explosion wasn't being sent into an open room where all the energy went. It was being sent into an armor that can tank his own energy. So he literally would have just been imploding on top of himself.
Yeah, so basically, what a surprise, their research is wrong. They should have just stuck to DMC4, because like when they added all this other shit, that just made things worse.
Well, why did they even mention DMC4? He's only there before the events of 3. This is literally explained in the opening cutscene that it's several decades before. Okay, you know what? They dug themselves a hole. I'm not going to help them out.
Scales to DMC4 Dante, Mingler. Scales to DMC4.
Yeah, I guess his playthrough is canon.
Shit.
I guess his playthrough is canon. We got it, boys. Grudak finally found the answer. Or Death Battle, I guess.
I've never seen such a fucking hardcore throw on a versus match today until this very moment. My goodness, these people threw.
Earth trembles before the power of Vergil.
It'll be fun to fight with the Prince of
They don't
Darkness.
deserve promotion. Skip the ad.
Don't worry, I will. But hang on a minute. So I just want to throw this out as well. Wait, nope, never mind. That's 5 information.
No. We actually kind of have to mention it because since it's not here, it is worth noting that. I mean, it is 5 information. I just want to bring it up to explain why it's important.
Okay, so I will say this now. This does not change the outcome. They already screwed over Sephiroth.
Well, so it doesn't change the outcome, but it's more to consider. So before the Nightmare, which was released after, confirms Mundus during this scene and during the events of 3 is weakened. Problem for Death Battle's scaling is that doesn't exist pre-DMC5 because that source material hasn't released yet, meaning there is no confirmation that Mundus is weakened during the events of DMC3. So this is technically full power Mundus.
I mean, like, no, at this point, if you just want a 2C fucking key, just fucking say that he scales to fucking arc.
No, I mean, like, that would mean the Mundus in DMC1 would actually be fully revived because we had no evidence that he was like weakened. The only source material that ever confirmed he was weakened was before the Nightmare. So pre-timeline, you could have argued that Mundus in 1 was at full strength. So if you're scaling Vergil to DMC4 Dante, then that means he scales above Mundus, who is omniscient. You know, future sight, past sight, multiversal reality warping, you know, that kind of. I'll stop now. Let's continue.
Are you sure you don't want to talk about Yamato's abilities and what Yamato technically does before we continue?
Normally I thought, hey, we don't have to include 2's novel, right? Because they just mentioned 4, and 2 is after 4 in the timeline. Problem is that Mundus isn't confirmed to be weakened, so he'd be prime Mundus during the events of 1, which would mean he has the power of the beast heads. So I gotta talk about
I'm surprised that they didn't use shit from like SMT3.
Okay, let's continue. We've been here for a while.
If my father did it, I should be able to do it too.
Technically, he's not wrong in that sense. Okay, so let's go and start the matchup itself, and let's see here.
We'll just skip like a little bit of it.
You are powerful.
Alright, let's go ahead and go right here. So, fight's already over. Fight's already over. Hang on. So does Vergil already land a slice on him at the beginning or no?
Who are
Hang on.
you?
Come on, just land a slice, Vergil.
Your despair.
Oh, I forgot how bad Vergil was in this one.
Just let the fight play out.
Yeah, no, that fight was over the moment you attacked. Like, that's.
Okay, so right here, no, he would already be dead. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, Sephiroth's sword. Here, let me lower that. Let me actually mute the audio. Sephiroth's sword does not have any special abilities. Okay, right off the bat, Sephiroth does not react to instantaneous teleportation at any point.
Yeah, Vergil's teleports are also confirmed to be.
Yeah, they're instantaneous, and that's before 5. So, well, come on.
That's also without mentioning infinite speed,
Dude,
so
no,
they
this
would
like
actually
this is
be beyond
so fucking
finite speed.
stupid. There's no reason you would assume the Muramasa or Manamoon would actually fucking survive any of these attacks.
See, like we could wait, pause it for a sec. Like we could mention in the Dante versus Bayonetta debunk, and I kind of mentioned, or I guess the response, but you can call it debunk if you want. I mentioned that Dante like at least has scans and statements that proves he wants to fight people and toy with them. So you can argue, even for the purposes of entertainment, that it might be consistent that Dante would play around with someone weaker than him if he found him interesting enough. There is no fucking argument for that for Vergil. Vergil does not give you a fucking inch. If you try to kill him, he will take you down.
And again, they do, I believe, at the end state that Sephiroth is slower than Vergil. So no, this fight's complete horseshit. Okay.
Here's also the other problem. We have an instance in Free's manga and also in one's novel that that Vergil will just straight up like kill you as soon as the fight starts. He's not aiming to enjoy himself.
I mean, I thought that was the point of like 3SE's cutscene where he kind of turns all of the abysses into paper. Sephiroth's dead there.
That's
I
an
don't know why
instant death.
Hang on, let me go back to that quickly. Okay, so he already sliced through Sephiroth.
That's rapid slash.
Yeah, he sliced through him with the rapid slash. Sephiroth's dead by that point, or at the very minimum, he's weakened because this motherfucker cannot take a sword stab to save his fucking life. He is not Cloud.
You like a rapid slash isn't just one attack. That's like 6 to 8 slashes that all cut through the fabric.
This is dead. Sephiroth's healing factor is not good enough to survive Yamato's fucking slices. These are win conditions met, by the way.
I was gonna say, even under the conditions that they scaled them incorrectly, why would you assume that Sephiroth could tank those blows or that he could block them? They're clearly going through him and around the sword.
There is like literally a fucking anti-feat where Cloud stabs him with fucking the fucking Buster sword and it pierces clean through his body. Sephiroth should be cleaved through. No, I think what they're arguing
he falls into the live stream.
Even if you want to argue that Sephiroth would not fall apart under these attacks because, his chest was still fine after the stab. Let's argue that for a minute. That motherfucker took one stab from Cloud and was fucking done.
Hey,
that
look,
motherfucker takes one Omni Slash and is fucking done.
I was going to say, good points, but counterpoint, Advent Children would like a word, because he gets hit like 6 times and he's fucking dead. Okay. And then he's just like, I will never be a memory.
Right there? Angler, I think I count more than 6 slices on him. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I count 6.
So in Advent Children, he says that he'll never be a memory. In the death battle, I'll never be confetti.
I'll never be a memory, but fucks off immediately.
This is complete bullshit. Even if you want to argue that Cloud might be stronger than Sephiroth, Yamato still negs that difference. Complete bullshit. Complete horseshit. She's literally hit win. I've never seen someone hit win conditions this fucking hard.
It's going through his body. I've never actually paused it here, but it's literally going through his body. There's at least 4 to 5 slashes going through his body now.
Again, even if you want to say he can tank it, Sephiroth would not be fighting at the same capacity after one rapid slash. Dude, if they acknowledge Vergil lands hits, they concede the fucking match.
Oh, wait. Do we want to? I'll mention it when we get to the conclusion, because.
Bro, I've never seen so many hard as fuck win conditions be met, and the guy still loses.
Okay.
Okay, this is garbage. Wait, they acknowledge he takes damage? Why did the rapids... No, okay.
Wait. Why did that one do damage, but the other one didn't? They're both judgment cuts. One just has more slashes.
Slash? No,
rapid slash is literally just a slash with Yamato. They're all just him.
This is fucking... Oh my goodness, this is stupid. Look at the wound in his chest! Bro, that should have been you... No, this is bullshit!
Wait, why is his head bleeding? Why is his forehead bleeding?
Dude, if they acknowledge this deals that much damage to him with one judgment cut, Vergil wins. Because he stacks multiple judgment cuts usually in succession.
Yeah, Vergil in character is literally like, I'm going to shoot you multiple times and then teleports away and then camps you out.
In his boss fights, he will throw out like 3 in one go. If one hits you, they're all going to hit you. Get the fuck out of this is... Bro, oh my god. Oh, he's creating clones of himself.
If we want to argue or what a Bloodlust and Vergil will do, let's just take Frey's final boss fight, where he like shoots 20 of them at you.
No, this is so fucking stupid. He already
Yeah, and he can
won.
shoot 2 different variations of them as well.
They were better off just saying the Sephiroth Vergil hit was an illusion. That would have worked out much better than him actually tanking the strike. This is so fucking stupid. Holy, even without DMs, without any of that shit, Vergil already won.
Also, can I say as well that this bit is also false because he can see through illusions, so this would not matter.
Even then, he can also sense souls as well. Demonic power can do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it would be beyond that. He can sense your existence.
No, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Sephiroth does not gain the massive amp they argue when he pulls out the wing. Get the fuck out of here. Vergil, oh my god, this is so fucking stupid.
That choreography is really nice, though.
Yeah, but you know what it's showing? That, like, Sephiroth is not fast enough.
Wait. Okay, Vergil would already know which ones are illusions by this point.
Wait. Hang on. If he's using summon swords, I gotta mention this now. DMC4 confirms that even when Nero, a person who doesn't have any knowledge or understanding or has never used summon swords, the moment that he uses them, they can negate your durability through sheer force of will. How the fuck
not to be that
is
guy,
Sephiroth?
Summon swords is described as being countless swords. It's not 6. It's not
the spiral sword, is described as countless swords. Plus, there's so many different statements for countless across the entire course.
That when Vergil uses summon swords, what we see on the screen is not lore accurate. That's just because if we got too many, well, the game would probably crash on itself.
Yeah, also, like, this is an example that he can shoot as many of them as he wants, and they negate your durability. They also contain his magic energy, and also, if we're using Reboot Vergil, and for Vergil can teleport you to himself, and teleport himself to you.
Oh, no, that's absolutely
via
true.
the swords.
Sephiroth would not be able to get away from him, because Vergil would just teleport to the swords that hit him. Yeah, this is...
Vergil would literally just be like, hey, you seen the
anime battle get any
Naruto?
fight accurate?
He'd be like, you seen the anime Naruto? It's just like...
To put this in perspective, if Vergil wanted to, he could literally just pull, like, a Minato from Naruto and just, like, bounce around the arena.
That's what I mentioned, except that Vergil's is infinitely superior to his teleport and doesn't require seals. He can just passively teleport wherever he wants to as many times as he wants to, and then can stack variations of it with swords.
Let's continue the bullshit. Vergil, no, I want to say this now. Vergil's already hit win condition several times over. This is stupid at this point. Oh, look at that. He should be able to teleport. Wait, even if you want to argue for a minute, wait, are these real Sephiroths or not? Because he's actually hitting these characters, so these are real Sephiroths. No,
I think these are the physical illusions that they.
Fair enough, I guess. Dude, no, get the fuck out of here. You guys acknowledge Vergil's faster. He's not gonna block a fucking barrage like that.
Sephiroth's over here. Masamune go.
They gave him Judgment Cut In, and Judgment Cut In would clear out the entire. Wait. Okay, so when did Sephiroth actually fucking change out at this point?
So all he did was he used the illusions to distract Vergil while he charges Supernova.
Also, Vergil's reaction speed, based on what they're showing, would have been able to he would have.
All right, so Vergil's gonna portal jump here, right? Because he sees it coming.
No. Here's my question.
He sees it coming. Oh, he got hit by it for some reason, even though he was teleport spamming the entire fight.
So here's my question. So Vergil sees the supernova coming. Did his controller disconnect?
No, the fact that he sees it coming, because again, even in Final Fantasy VII, it's a pretty slow fucking attack.
Also, Vergil could just cut Supernova into shreds. He could just cut it into shreds.
And they give him the ability from the reboot that he can cut into the dimension and escape. Why didn't he escape prior to the supernova?
Even then, that's actually wrong. When Vergil DT's back, his physical form is actually perfectly fine. So he took this.
When you DT, you literally become a different person. You become a devil. So
also,
this is
that's not how the healing factor works. He does not get taxed like that. I love how Sephiroth lands one win condition. Again, that wouldn't happen. Again, his healing factor does not actually tax that way. Vergil would still be alive after this fight.
I mean, even if it did massive damage, his body would still be completely intact.
All right, let's hear their bullshit. No. Okay, so then I guess no, because Sephiroth had summon clones when Vergil hits him the first time. You can't argue it's a Sephiroth clone at that point. That's just stupid.
Extra crispy.
Even then, Vergil would know.
These two were extremely powerful swordsmen, but
You might want the actual sound.
Oh, here,
Yeah, I want to hear what they actually have to say.
So let's go and see this.
abilities led to his victory.
Okay, so we're saying Sephiroth has stronger abilities.
Were
Completely bullshit. Vergil scales
extremely powerful swordsmen, but Sephiroth's cunning and stronger abilities led to his victory.
He does not have stronger
Cunning?
abilities. What the
That
fuck?
motherfucker's the dumbest guy in Final Fantasy.
Wait a minute, I thought the lore said Vergil's sword could cut through anything. Why didn't it cut through Sephiroth's sword?
Yamato was a unique weapon, but its legend clearly exaggerated. On multiple occasions, it's clashed with Dante's blade and even...
This is a false equivalency right fucking now. Rebellion's made by Sparta. You cannot use that for a counterexample. They're made by the same fucking person.
I told you
Yamato's
statement. I told you they'd use the clean end.
I was going to say Yamato's statement of cutting through anything is not applicable to what people described it in Legends. It's referring to what Vergil's perception of the sword is. So here's where I have to explain how Yamato works in the lore. Yamato's powers are not derived based on like cutting through space and shit. They're literally just a weapon that was made by Sparta. And even if we're just doing the pre-DMC5 timeline, the powers of Yamato have varied greatly based on the person using it. Like, even without knowledge, it has always consistently been capable of cutting through space and time. In the case of Lady, if you listen to the cutscene as it's shown, he literally has a conversation with her, and it's explained afterwards that he can't move that fast because he's taken like a beating that day. So even if you want to argue like that he wouldn't intentionally cut her out, like it's explained that he's weakened in that scene anyway. So
that would skill Yamato.
Yeah.
When Vergil gets weakened, Yamato gets weakened. Thankfully, Vergil got his win condition before he even took a hit.
Multiple times.
Okay, of course, he probably took a hit there.
a common rocket
Also,
launcher
Vergil
without
doesn't
cutting
need
through
Yamato.
Wait. Fuck off of me?
multiple occasions, it's clashed with Dante's blade and even a common rocket launcher.
A common rocket launcher? Kalina Ann is anything but a common rocket launcher.
Hey.
That thing was used on Arkham's
Deathbell.
Legions.
Do you remember that one time Dante mockingly used Yamato and he cut the true Hellgate, which is at least, like, if we were to try and scale, like, its width, at least, like, 40 feet?
There's no fucking way in hell you're going to convince me that cutting that fucking gate casually, which Vergil will be able to do because he scales, there's no way you're going to tell me Vergil's or Sephiroth's fucking sword is more durable
Zoom,
than that.
Even if you wanted to argue
the
this
sword
was
didn't even cut the gate, it was the shockwave.
No. That was just the force of the sword being carried by the fucking wind.
No. It can pierce Nero's Devilbringer, which Dante can't even do.
Which can interact with
the
Kratos'
Devilbringer
sword.
is also stated to be indestructible.
Yeah, and it can interact with Kratos' sword, which is stated in both 3-to-1's guidebook, 4's guidebook, 3-to-1's art book, and 4's game to be able to repel any attack, and Nero can chuck it around like a chew toy. I would also like to point out, even if you thought this was an anti-feat, let's say I concede to an anti-feat. Not enough evidence. I'm just making you feel better. If I concede to it being an anti-feat, this is completely retconned by DMC4. By all feats shown in DMC4. So it wouldn't even fucking matter.
What I was going to say is that even if you want to argue this is an anti-feat, Yamato consistently cuts through more impressive shit than this anti-feat does. So consistently, Yamato would still be above Sephiroth's sword.
Without cutting through either, and sometimes requires an exuberant amount of force to cut through tougher material.
I love how I say tougher material when they're arguing like that guy doesn't have the power of Sparta.
What did they mean an exuberant amount of force? He literally just bare palmed it through Arkham's body.
Also, I want to throw...
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Alright, we're back.
But let's discuss the real facts.
Like strength.
The real facts.
This is fucking... Fuck this shit. This is so fucking...
Wait. Well, let's just let him talk.
Beowulf could do 720 million newtons,
Where's
right?
my volcano?
But there aren't a lot of good Sephi strength feats to compare.
First, let's compare Sephiroth to a fellow first-class member of the soldier fighting force, who had also been experimented on with Genova cells. Zack.
Hang on. That's much like this plate. Nope. Hang on.
Is that the despairing body down there?
No, it's just
He's the Not Cloud guy who fought that
Oh, this
dragon.
is fire. Never
At
mind.
his peak, Zack could cut through a large metal door with one swing, seemingly with most of his strength. Given the size and width of the door, this feat's sheer strength comes out to 980 million newtons.
Can I bring up Yamato cutting down the fucking... Okay.
And Seph
just
was way
really
stronger than Zack.
Wondering if they even wait. Didn't they put
That
the
is fucking debatable. That is fucking debatable. I call Zack. That was plot-induced stupidity. I believe either at this point or later on, Zack fights Genesis, who gained the power of the fucking goddess or the live stream, which should scale safe for Sephiroth. But whatever, I'm not.
Now wait.
I was gonna say, don't they
yes,
put do they put the feet of Dante
Character
or the
stats
Dante cutting
during
to the-
Dragon Fight? Oh my god, they're using stats.
If we look at their strength stats when they fought that
No,
dragon,
this is all bullshit, and they should not have used
Sephiroth
this.
was 3.5
Hey, if
times
we're gonna use
stronger.
stats, can I explain how demonic power works?
Batman, they're
wait.
down. They already gave him Dante for.
Putting Sephiroth's strength output at over 3 billion newtons. That's almost as much force as
That's
30
bullshit.
Hiroshima
Wait, so
bombs.
I'd say this now. So let's say Devil Trigger is like a 5 times multiplier. Does that mean?
So, here's my question. How desperate were they for Sephiroth to win that they literally brought in gameplay stats?
But didn't include Virgil's.
May I add, Sephiroth is the only character that they've used gameplay stats for.
Are you serious?
They didn't use it for Cloud. They haven't used it for Sora. They haven't used it for a bunch of other characters.
None of
Did
this,
they use it for Tifa?
I don't think they did. No.
Nope, they didn't use
The
it for
hell?
Tifa either.
Because by this logic, Tifa, because at the end of the game, you can get her to 99, which would be stronger than the Zack at that point. Also going to throw us out.
So
That's
does that
fucking
mean-
stupid because you're
does
arguing
that mean-
Zack is weaker than most of the Final Fantasy VII crew? That's fucking wrong.
Hang on a minute. Does that mean Tifa one-shots Virgil in Devil Trigger?
Apparently. But
oh,
still
boy.
loses to Yang.
So according to them, Yang one-shots Virgil.
This is such garbage.
Wait.
And this would
A
be-
Virgil
and
that
this would be a
scales to
season
DMC4 Dante at that.
And this would be a Season 2 Yang.
This is this is such horseshit.
Isn't everything though. Virgil was technically faster.
What do you mean was
Wait,
technically
they
faster?
admitted any faster. Wait, no. That's it. I gotta talk about infinite speed now.
Hiroshima.
Fuck this.
I love how they bring
Okay,
up
so-
Virgil was technically faster, and then they give all this weight to Sephiroth. Oh, he's way stronger.
So I would like to point this out because I can mention this. I don't need DMC5 to prove this. Even pre-timeline, demons and demonic power generally seems to come from a couple sources in DMC. One of the main sources for demonic power is a demon's name, as explained in the DMC3 manga. That names are everything to a
In
demon.
one's novel.
Yeah, you can mention that, Balrog, if you want to.
No, this is fucking stupid. As soon as they scaled Virgil to DMC fucking 1 Dante, which they are doing by scaling him to DMC4 Virgil, or DMC4 Dante. No. They act like DMC4 Virgil's canon. No. Arkham, Savior, way fucking stronger. Get the fuck out of here.
So the point is that Sparta, in order to seal Timina grew away, in addition to the seal he put in the tower with 2 sets of Sparta's blood, the perfect amulets, and the blood of immortal priestess, he required sealing away 7 additional demons, and the way he seals them is by taking away their name. And he just takes away their name by simply doing it, by declaring that they can no longer have it. Like verbally, that's all it took for him to do this. Because when Virgil releases the seals, all he does is when they asked him to grant us back our name so we can get back our power,
So
he says, think of names yourself. So he can grant them the ability to restore their own powers and can do
Mangler
it
can help me
himself.
out here. The easiest way to explain what Virgil did is the exact same thing that Ichibei did in Bleach, where he can really just take away somebody's name and they become that thing.
Except it's better Because Vergil didn't have to activate an elaborate, convoluted, like, sword transformation to get into it. He just said some words.
I will say better's a little subjective, because even if you take away something's name, they still retain the same form they had when they had their name. So he can't, like,
They may retain the same form, but they lost all their powers and abilities.
Yes.
That's the point I'm making. So wait. This is the first part. Nobodies in DMC1 are literally stated to not have been given a name because they were not considered intelligent enough. Therefore, at a base level, they have literally no form or source of power whatsoever. And they can move in the mirror dimension, or the corrupted world, or whatever you want to call it, which according to DMC1's guidebook, time flows completely in reverse there. And they are unaffected by it entirely. Dante can move in this dimension, Nello Angelo can move in this dimension, and they do not flow back and forth. So, for him to be able to consistently do that, he would have to break the speed formula. And nobody's would be canonically the weakest demon. Even if you want to argue, like, they would surpass other demons because they can absorb demonic power, sure, whatever. That would still mean at a base they're the weakest demon. They'd be inferior to the Abysses from 3, who are stated to never know defeat.
In saying that, should we go back to the scene where they showed Vergil fodderizing the Abyss?
I would like to point out,
the people who are the demons that have not known defeat in combat.
At the beginning of DMC3,
which
showing
would most likely mean they would have at least fought in the demons. Ignoring the infinite speed again, like that would still scale to the sub-rel demons in DMC1.
Be happy we're not bringing in 5 because we don't get to argue the Fury.
Yeah, well, I would just like to point out, like, that's one example of it. We can
the original timeline was 3124 and they scaled Dante to 4. Imagine bringing in Void Moons in the distance.
I would like to point out we can use the switches for the example of transcending space and time, that with Dante's basic demonic power, he can hit a switch that literally reverts time to a specific point in time to restore light switches that he destroyed. So his power would already be 4D, but extremely high within that category. And Vergil would scale to it because he fought that Dante and fought stronger versions of him, and according to Death Battle, scales to DMC4 Dante. So, yeah. Oh, wait, do I need to mention how demons get to the human world as well? As an example of, like, speed feats? Because I can do that as well. But, you know, if you guys don't want to, it's fine.
We're already good, Mingler. I think we're already an hour and 20 minutes into this, and I gotta just remove like 30.
Strength isn't everything, though. Vergil was technically fast.
I love how I say technically faster, yet they only demonstrate like once in the fight, and even then, Sephiroth has like a better speed feat.
Faster than Sephi, but Sephiroth has handled people of similar speed.
I don't know what fight you were watching, but I was watching Vergil pretty much fodderize.
No, because Sephiroth can block all of Vergil's blitzes.
Before, plus.
Also, I have to say
wait, what did he just say?
Faster than Sephi, but Sephiroth has handled people of similar speeds before. Plus.
No.
So right off the bat,
no.
That is already wrong. Because if he's faster than Sephiroth, those two don't scale to Vergil. Even if Sephiroth can fight 2 people who are slower than him in combat, Vergil's still faster than either one of them. Just because he can fight 2 at once does not mean he'd be able to fight someone who's faster. And also, they're his friends and he's known for a long time, so he would know their battle strategies and stuff.
Also, this wasn't a serious fight. This was, like, training.
Yeah, no, like, that actual instance occurs before Genesis gets serious. He even tells Angel how to, like, don't fucking get involved.
Yeah, and Angel's just like, hey, don't use that or you'll fucking kill us all. And he's just like, don't talk to me like that.
Let's see this.
Sephiroth could survive plenty of hits because his healing power is broken.
No, he can't. And you wanna know what? If we're giving him Gilver, you wanna know who negates healing factors? Gilver!
Yeah, because apparently in the DMC1 novel, he can still destroy Dante despite Dante having healing factor from 1 where he can get impaled directly.
Which I even show, we'll get to this when we do the massive Devil May Cry video, but I showed you and Zim, like, a couple of scans. There's one scan where Dante literally gets blasted in the face by a gun, and it literally says that it rips through his skull, and he's fine. And then you have Gilver, who just mangles him and he can barely heal himself.
Yeah, no, so even if you want to argue for Vergil, for like Sephiroth's healing factor being impressive, Vergil can negate healing factors on that level, if not greater, when he enters when he says Gilver, which they do use Gilver's shit. This is valid.
Could survive plenty of hits because his healing power is broken.
Also, Sephiroth's healing factor is not broken. They literally acknowledge that he dies after one stab. Just saying.
The abilities of Vergil's healing factor was nearly unprecedented, but it had its limits. In contrast, Sephiroth's healing abilities were only limited by his pool of magic.
That is not true. Again, they acknowledge Sephiroth dies after one fucking stab. He even dies after one Omni Slash, which is just a bunch of slices.
And that's supposed to be the strongest version of Sephiroth. Granted, he's not at his full power, but Advent Children is confirmed to be the strongest Sephiroth.
And Advent Children Sephiroth shows fucking nothing. They don't even scale Sephiroth correctly. Sephiroth's best scaling comes from Zack Fair, and maybe if you want to argue Galaxy level based on the Supernova, but they wouldn't do that because they don't scale Sephiroth to Supernova.
Was unlimited.
Well, he also had to take some time to cast each healing spell, but that's why he just...
This is bullshit because you would argue at this, because Vergil will be able to sense their illusions right off the bat, but even if you want to argue against that for a moment, at some point Vergil's going to realize what the illusions are versus the real
distracted
deal.
Vergil with his illusions.
We know Vergil was susceptible.
Imagine thinking you can buy time against a guy who can instantaneously teleport and break the speed formula.
Hang on. Let me take hang on.
But that's why he distracted Vergil with his illusions.
We know Vergil was susceptible to illusionary and mental attacks.
No. Well, okay, so he was susceptible to it for a moment, but you kind of fucked up here a little bit in your contrast here. Because this is not the same thing.
This is my territory. That's not even what happened. What happened is that he sees Dante's amulet and he's having flashbacks.
So it's important to note.
There's no mind control.
It's important
That's
to
exactly
note
what happens. He literally has a mental flashback of their childhood, and then does this.
It's important to note that by their distinction, they think the comics are fair game to use, and the comics directly contradict what happens in DMC 1. This is without even mentioning what they're talking about, where Vergil is not under mind control in the comics. He's completely sentient.
All right, well,
the same thing with Gilfer as well.
There goes your mind control argument then, because if they're going to bring up fucking scans from the fucking comic, and they do seem to imply to use it, then they're
like Gilfer is straight up. He dons the Nello Angelo armor in the novel, and he is able to have sentient, conscious thoughts and conversations with people. He's completely under his own control. And even if you want to argue Vergil's under mind control, he's still operating on pure muscle memory and still retains all of his fighting style. And as soon as he sees one thing that reminds him of his childhood, he breaks out almost immediately and has to be teleported away.
Well. Not just that. Not just that, but there's literally are you guys literally going to ignore the demon that put Vergil under an illusion? And then
I was going to say, DMC3 is an example. He can choose whether or not he wanted to be put under an illusion. And that wasn't just any illusion. That was literally the most traumatic memory he's ever experienced in his life, the night he thought he was going to fucking die, where he got stabbed repeatedly into a gravestone.
So I hate using other examples from other series, but this would basically be the equivalent of the angel using the Tsukuyomi and Vergil just shrugging it.
Yeah, Vergil just shrugging it off and then just being wait a minute, I need to figure out if I can...
say, too, regarding the illusion thing, these are two very different illusions. You're arguing that fucking spectral clones of illusions versus literally being trapped in an alternate reality illusion. These are two very different illusions, and Vergil breaks out of a much superior one. Just saying. Also, to point out as well, when Vergil enters that illusion, he's reverted back to his child self. It's only after a few moments he remembers himself. So this illusion bullshit would not work on the version of Vergil they left fighting Sephiroth.
This happened to him.
So I had to leave the call for a sec. Did you mention the fact that the illusions are not mental ones, but physical ones?
No, go ahead. Well, I just said it was he just taken to a separate space, which in DMC would be a physical space.
Yeah, they're physical. There's physical ones. Even as the way the fight portrays it, there's nothing that indicates Sephiroth during the writing of the fight actually got inside the mind of Vergil. So no.
Even then, even if any Death Battle loyalist wanted to try and say any excuse, demons can sense souls.
Yeah, exactly. So he would know which one's real and which one's not.
He can sense your existence because they can tell if your mind's there as well or not.
Yeah, no, regardless of this bullshit for a minute, no, Vergil won this fight. They're just fucking, their research was just garbage.
I would also like to point out that Vergil's range on his sensing is further than like several miles. He can detect Lady. He has a feat in DMC3 during like mission 4 or whatever, where he's standing on top of Temenagru with his eyes closed, and he can tell that Lady is inside of Temenagru, despite how tall that fucking tower is.
Yeah,
And he knows where it
Arkham's
is.
just like, what do you mean?
And he's just like, there is a woman in the, there is, it looks like we have an uninvited guest. He's like, is that so? He's like, a human, a woman. So Virgil can tell that there is a human in the tower, and he can tell her biology. He can
Not
tell
only
that
that,
she's a woman.
But throughout the entire tower, he can tell when Dante's getting closer to him.
Also, Dante confirms in Trinity of Fates that he can also sense Virgil in Mission 2. That he actually senses Virgil's presence from, like, in front of his shop.
Hang on.
So...
Hang on. Doesn't Virgil say there's a girl, not a woman?
No, he says a human, a woman.
Ah, okay.
Yep. So Virgil is pretty much always going to know where you are.
Yeah, so
and that's
that illusion thing would not work. Not that way.
That would also be DMC3 Virgil. So DMC, if you're arguing DMC, like he scales to DMC4 Dante, like his like senses would be vastly beyond what he demonstrated in 3.
Just to add one more thing. If people are thinking like Temenagru is just like a giant tower, no, this is a humongous tower that's at least like taller than the world's tallest buildings.
Yeah, Dante was able to run down it fast enough to create air friction.
And
like,
still can keep running down for a good while longer.
I know. I feel like we're beating
tower,
like a couple dead
isn't
horses.
the tower in some cutscenes so tall that low clouds are around it?
So what happened is we came up to beat a horse, but this horse was already dead on the circle.
Yeah, we shot it to death, set it on fire, and then like buried it. Yeah, I would also like to point out there's an actual flying whale spinning around like Temenagru just to demonstrate its size, and that's just near the top of it.
And it literally disappears from sight at certain points.
Well, also, we've also got a demonic tapeworm that can travel between the rifts in space time, but that's neither here or there.
Yeah, no, it's
not here nor there. All right, let's finish this off.
Who is in canon demise.
And Sephiroth's illusions could hide his ultimate technique.
No, they couldn't.
Yeah, Virgil's healing.
It's a giant fireball. There's nothing to hide.
Also, that's only a supernova. Virgil could tank that casually in DMC3.
But it was never gonna.
They are correct. Virgil couldn't dodge it. His controller was disconnected.
Oh, you're absolutely right. The DC, the lag.
Hold up under an.
Also, Virgil in
He
canon
needed a new
didn't
controller.
die during the events of 1. It's confirmed he's alive in 4.
Virgil put up a good fight, but he couldn't match Sephiroth's superior strength, magic, and techniques.
Looks like this devil's
debatable.
Again, like, even if you want to argue for a minute, just the idea, like, oh, well, it couldn't cut through Lady's rocket launcher, it consistently cuts through more impressive things. You'd think they would have taken the consistency and not the low end. But, before anything else happens, what?
Oh, it's just funny that we've all, like, debated Sephiroth fanboys individually and have come out on top, so, you know, this is...
It seems we've come full circle.
If anyone actually, watches this video and is like, wants to, like, either discuss it or anything like that, feel free to, let us know. I'll probably sometime this week, I'll make a one-time only, like, new Discord link, so that way new people can join. I'll probably announce it at some point.
Wait, is that the end of the video?
No, I'm in it right now. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for your time as always. Have a nice day. I'll see you guys in the next stream or video.